All right, I'm the flat rate master, and so you want to be a Diag tech, huh? In case you're wondering, that is a chassis harness out of Colorado. It is readily available for obvious reasons. That one has a break in the communication wires somewhere along the backside of that harness. In order to actually find it and fix it would involve pulling it out of the truck anyway for the half, that I need, and then finding it, and that harness is readily available, so we're getting a chassis harness. And so we're going to talk about what it really means to be a diagnostic tech. Now, I know a bunch of people are going to be sounding out in the comments, but if you're getting paid for Diag work, you need to be doing it right. That means training, equipment, information. You need all these. You need to know how to use a scope proficiently. You need to know how to use your scan tools proficiently. And you need to find information proficiently. You need to be able to do all those things to be a good diagnostic tech. Just because you got one of these doesn't make you a Diag guy. Even if you got one of those, it doesn't mean you're a Diag guy. Pulling codes is not diagnosing. Pulling codes and throwing a part at it is shotgun diagnostics, and stop doing that. My point of this is that a lot of people think big money's in diagnostics, I got to get into diagnostics, and they don't realize the amount of work, training, understanding circuit design, understanding system design, and then having to relearn that as systems evolve. We've got things like FlexRay networks. We've got Ethernet networks. Think about that. When you go to program a BMW, your J-box is hooked to your laptop via Ethernet cable. That's the only way you can program those cars, because the network is so fast and you have to be able to transfer data at an acceptable rate. If you've ever programmed an F car with a J-box, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16 hours and hope it doesn't fail. Because of the speed of the network, the amount of files you're transferring, you need a high-speed connection. So understand that if you're in this industry and you want to be the Diag guy, get your butt to training. Go subscribe to Scanner Danner, Super Mario Diagnostics. There's a bunch of other channels out there. If you haven't already subscribed to Scanner Danner Premium, you need to go do that and binge watch all those videos. Yes, I know they're long, but there's a lot of great fundamental information in those videos. Being a diagnostic tech is not about hanging ball joints and throwing brakes on cars and doing flushes. It's a lot more involved. You have to understand circuit design, system designs, description and operation of said systems. You have to understand all that to properly diagnose it. A lot of times when you are dealing with a system you're unfamiliar with, you spend more time actually learning the system than you do diagnosing it. And that's really important to understand that. It's for somebody that's passionate about fixing diagnostic issues in cars and puts in the work. It is not for the guy that comes to the shop, works his, 8, 9 hours, whatever it is, goes home and that's it. It's a lot more involved in that. You got to be willing to go to every bit of training you can. Watching the, guys over at GoTech, watching the channels I mentioned, there's lots of great diagnostic guys out there that you can learn a lot from just on YouTube. But the thing is even then, you still need to go to training. You need to understand how systems work. You need to figure out how to use a scope, and you need to be proficient at it. Trust me when I say this, if you don't understand how to use a scope and you're dealing with communication issues, it gets really fun not having that information. Oh, my network's down. What is it doing? Hook a scope to it. You'll find out. You got some weird stuff going on, hook a scope to it. You'll figure it out if you have the fundamentals of using an oscilloscope. a DSO. I've done some intro videos a while ago on scope practices, and I did another video recently with the launch tool. But you need to learn how to use a scope. You need to have a scope. There's lots of great options out there. I talk about Billy. He's still got a U-scope. If the U-scope isn't enough for Billy, I've got, scopes for him to use. Just today, I was using the Snap-on scope on a car for Craig, helping him out. But you need to be proficient in that use of that scope because it's an important part of diagnostics. Yes, there's a lot of stuff you can literally diagnose from the seat of the car with a scan tool. But when it comes down to it, there's certain points where you need a scope. You need to understand how to also use a DVOM. You need to understand when and how to use a test light to load test your circuits or a headlight bulb. Figuring out whether or not that wire can carry loaded 12 volts. It's an important thing because trust me, voltage drop can be a, fun little thing to deal with. And if you don't understand voltage drop, learn about it because it's a really important thing to understand. So, if you want to move into the diagnostic role, you need to put in the time. You need to get training. You need training. There's no way around it. You'll get the experience as you diagnose and as you mess up and as you learn. There is no replacement for training. So if you want to be a diagnostic guy, get you some training. So as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.